So in order to dive into what makes Action Civics different from other kinds of civics education, let's start with a parable. Once upon a time, there was a small village on the edge of a river. The people there were good, and life in the village was good. One day, a villager noticed a baby floating down the river. The villager quickly swam out to save the baby from drowning. The next day, this same villager noticed two babies in the river. He called for help, and both babies were rescued from the swift waters. And the following day, 4 babies were seen caught in the turbulent current, and then 8, then more, and still more. The villagers organized themselves quickly, setting up watchtowers and training teams of swimmers who could resist the swift waters and rescue babies. Rescue squads were soon working 24 hours a day, and each day the number of helpless babies floating down the river increased. The villagers organized themselves efficiently. The rescue squads were snatching many children each day. While not all the babies, now very numerous, could be saved, the villagers felt they were doing well to save as many as they could each day. Indeed, the village priest blessed them in their good work, and life in the village continues on that basis. One day, however, someone raised the question, where are all of these babies coming from? Let's go upriver and find out.
So the short version is that Action Civics, we're actually hoping that students can become like the people who ask where the babies are coming from, who ask the question, who search for the root cause, who want to understand why these problems are happening. Now, notice that the people in the story, there were lots of different kinds of citizens. There were citizens that jumped in and saved the babies. There were citizens that organized services. And all of those citizens were really helpful and really necessary for the process. We need all kinds of citizens in our community. Research shows that there's really 3 types of citizens. Personally responsible ones, someone that would donate to a food bank. A participatory citizen, someone who would actually go the next step and organize a food drive. And then these justice-oriented citizens, people who actually ask, why are people hungry? Why are these problems happening? Again, we need all 3 kinds of citizens in our community because each one offers something powerful to our nation. Schools have traditionally focused, if at all, on these first 2 kinds of citizens. And it's been very hard for schools to figure out how to get students to analyze these big systemic root causes and ask these big questions. We know we can use different types of civics education to build different types of citizenship in our students. And while we're not saying that one is better or worse, we know that it's often a pretty difficult level for students to get to that justice-oriented citizen on their own. So for Action Civics, our goal is to support students as they're becoming the kind of citizens that ask the big questions, ask why people are hungry.
So what makes Action Civics unique? Let's look at an example of how these different types of civic engagement may show up in the classroom. Let's take the issue of litter in the streets around school. Students may choose to approach this issue from a community service lens, an art lens, an education awareness raising lens, or an Action Civics lens. Take a minute to explain what makes Action Civics different from the other approaches listed here.